See as the sun comes up tomorrow, a lot of wind damage going through this eye wall in places like Bloomingdale, St. Petersburg, Tampa, Clearwater even, and that's just the wind damage that we'll watch for there. Now, one thing to note, this system's going to stay together as a hurricane here as it crosses the state. It'll do so pretty quick. Notice this is 2 p.m. on Thursday. It's already out in the Atlantic, so I would say by 11 a.m., maybe noon, it'll be out of the state of Florida and off into those ocean waters, but it's still going to be a Category 1, and we're still going to see those Category 1 hurricane force winds associated with it as it works across central Florida, Orlando area, and across the Space Coast as well. Top of that, those heavy rains will also be there. When it comes to the storm surge, this is what we feared so much leading up to this storm system. We've got over 4 feet of storm surge.
What's up, Daniel?
Right now, we've got almost 4 feet in Fort Myers. This, of course, nothing compared to what they dealt with in Hurricane Ian, but this number is going to go up, and this is well away from the center of that system. We're probably talking about much higher ranges a little farther to the north. We unfortunately don't have gauges there to tell us. There just simply is not gauges in that area, Gotti, so we're going to have to wait until, of course, the light of day to see some of what the worst of that storm surge brings. Right now in the Tampa Bay, we have reverse storm surge going on, so the water rushing out with those offshore winds. This is going to continue here for the next couple of hours, and we'll see, the system continue to move across the state with the other impacts that it'll bring to folks there here over the next 12 hours or so.
Damn.
Angie Lastman with a little bit of good news for Tampa Bay with those negative storm surge numbers. But we have Stephanie Gosk, who is in Tampa Bay right now, and that is where we're seeing the worst of the torrential rain. Stephanie, what are you seeing on the ground right now? We know there's been torrential rain and flooding, but the storm surge might not be as bad as feared. So describe the situation that you're in right now.
Yeah, I got it. It's the rain, but it is also the wind. I mean, we are seeing ferocious gusts of wind. They have to have topped 100. They were up to 95, 96 earlier, maybe about a half an hour ago, and they've just picked up and ratcheted up even further. We're seeing trees bent over, signs whipping off of buildings. This is certainly the worst that it has gotten. And then there is the rain, the torrential rain. It's been raining all day here, but has started to come down much faster and much harder. You can tell these gusts are coming in pretty strong. Their rain, according to Bill Cairns, for the next 3 or 4 hours, this area of Tampa could get 2 to 3 inches of rain an hour. That will be on top of what's already fallen. So, yes, there isn't going to be the storm surge here in Tampa Bay, but you're looking at upwards of a foot of rain falling on a place that is already saturated from the previous storm, on top of the damage that this wind is inevitably doing on this region as I talk to you.
And Stephanie, people may be tuning in right now and wondering, how are you still standing and those palm trees behind you are blowing like crazy? Can you walk us through some of the safety precautions you and your team have taken?
It's a great question. We are actually in a parking garage made out of cement. We're on the 3rd story of the parking garage, and we are surrounded by 3 walls basically. So you're looking out at the wind. But I can tell you, even the wind coming in here, I'm slightly slight of frame. If it hits me just the right way, I almost tumble over. I mean, it is that strong, and it's much stronger out on the streets here. We're in an area that it's close to where there are some hotels and a mall. You just don't see any sign of cars or people or anything. They have cleared out. They have heeded the warnings. They're staying in place, and we are taking precautions to be safe here as well. Got it.
It seems like Tampa has had a lot of close calls over the years, but a hurricane hasn't hit that area directly in almost a century. So, how prepared is Tampa for a hurricane?
Yeah, well, this entire coast of Florida just gets hit at various stages in various ways from hurricanes. It is a kind of life you live here. And yes, there hasn't been a hurricane that has directly hit Tampa in a century, but people here know that they're going to have to do it. There's a great example and a critical one for the city of Tampa, and that is the Tampa General Hospital. And they have taken incredible measures to make sure that they can stay operational. They're such a critical place for people to get care, especially during a storm where people could get hurt. They have flood walls that protect for storm surge up to 12 feet. They have their own power plant, Gotti, to keep the lights on 32 feet above sea level. They have moved all of the patients and doctors and staff out of the first floor, and they keep 5 full days of supplies and medicines and food so that they can wait out whatever might happen. They are perhaps the most critical infrastructure of this city, and it just goes to show that people know that these storms are going to come through. But this period of time, Hurricane Helene, followed by this storm, it is a 1-2 punch that they have not seen in this city in a very long time. Got it.
Incredible, the power of Mother Nature behind you there, Stephanie Gosk in Tampa. Thank you so much. And for a split screen here, let's go to Tom Yamas, who is in Sarasota right now. Tom, just before this, I was watching your coverage, and you were in the eye of the storm. And, we just saw Stephanie Gosk kind of getting blown around in the shelter of concrete. Describe this situation that you're in, because you were right in that eye, right?
Yeah, the eye was incredibly calm. It was quiet. It was eerily quiet. And unfortunately, when it gets like that, it brings people out. And so now I'm going to be kind of looking out of the corner of my eye because there's a lot of people in sort of high water pickup trucks, if you will. And they're just sort of zooming around, looky-loos, if you will. They're doing donuts. They're trying to splash the water in different directions. It's dangerous. It's reckless. And what they don't realize is that now that the eye wall the back eye wall is about to hit us, this is the strongest part of the hurricane. So the eye is obviously very calm. Now that is past, the strongest hurricane force winds are going to hit us. What I do want to show you, though, Gotti, is pretty incredible. This is the beginning of the storm surge. When we came out here, maybe about 15, 30 minutes ago, there wasn't water here. It's moving really, really fast. You can actually see it on the camera as it's pushing forward. This is coming from the bay. It's coming right into Sarasota. And this is the big fear right now. It's not going to get too serious until those hurricane force winds start pushing that water ahead. It could be anywhere from 8 to 12 feet. The power behind me, you notice, is out. So we're dealing with some power outages right now. But again, we're still sort of feeling the effects of the eye of the storm, which, even though this is a monster hurricane, it's a phenomenon of weather. It is incredible. It is completely calm right now. It is the Zen spot, if you will, of the hurricane right before the chaos starts once again. And that's the backside of the storm. And the wind gusts are picking up a little bit, Gotti, so we know it's coming in maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes.
At 15, 20, 30 minutes, how long have you been in the storm, sir? How long have you been in the eye there?
The eye, I'd say, and I have my team out here with us. What do we think, guys? Like maybe 30, 45 minutes? Probably about 45 minutes. Our audio engineer, Mr. Pope, who's an experienced storm chaser here, he's been with us, been monitoring the conditions. He thinks it's about 45 minutes. I think he's right. But again, Gotti, it's hard to explain. I've covered a lot of hurricanes, and you forget how calm it is in the eye. I mean, it was blowing. There are trees that are already down in Sarasota, and then suddenly it just stops. And it feels like any summer night in Sarasota, and now it's picking up again. What I'm worried about is the people that have come out, because there's a lot of cars now that are out here. They shouldn't be. But the police said, listen, we're not coming back out until after the storm, so these people know that the cops aren't going to be out here. And, there's, again, looky-loos, people being cavalier. I'm going to show you one right now that's coming through here. We can pass over here. You have a lot of vehicles like this. They're high water vehicles. They're pickup trucks. They're Wranglers. They have huge tires. And in some cases, not that guy, but in some cases they're doing donuts. They're revving their engines up. They're trying to have fun in a hurricane, which, again, whatever floats your boat, but, it's not safe.
No, and it's so misleading. When you're in the eye, it's eerie. There's almost a beauty to it, because you're in this storm that has been battering the area for hours and hours and hours, and all of a sudden there's this calm, and yet you see the destructive nature on the backside, which is what you're going to be experiencing here in the next hour, 2 hours. The warnings, does it seem like most people have warnings? Does it seem like most people have evacuated and left?
It did until the eye came over us, and then we started seeing all these pickups and all these cars coming through here. So it was calm. It was quiet. It looked like it's safe. Look, we're staying in a hotel on the water, and people have come out. There are people staying in the hotel. This is an evacuation zone, though. But I think some of the people in the hotels that are high up, our hotel is very high up. I'd say it's probably maybe 50 to 100 feet up, 50 to 100 feet up. So, we feel very protected here. But again, I got to tell you, Gotti, the water here, it's wild. It's coming in, and the rate that it's coming in is pretty fast. So I think over the next 4 or 5 hours, we're going to see some serious flooding in Sarasota. I mean, it was forecasted. It's just the question is how high it's going to be. You see, this is what I'm talking about here. People just zooming by, going as fast as they can in some cases.
Wow. And the storm surge was particularly, it was a huge concern a little bit north of you, and it looks like that is now shifted south. Does it look like the storm surge is already starting to set in where you are?
Yeah, look, it looks like it's coming in. I mean, the big fear was the storm surge in Tampa Bay, that black swan event. Luckily, and not luckily for other communities, but luckily for Tampa Bay, the storm, it hit a little south of Tampa. If it hit north, it'd be a much different story. That's why Sarasota will feel the brunt of that storm surge, and that's why people here are concerned tonight. Again, once we get to that back of that eye wall, it's going to be a much different story. Gotti, I'm going to pick up our coverage now because I know our colleague Priscilla Thompson is standing by in Orlando. She's been covering the tornadoes and the tornado threats throughout the central and eastern part of the state. Priscilla, what can you tell us tonight?
Yeah, so we know that there have been dozens of reported tornadoes throughout central and southern part of the state, and we've seen some pretty dramatic footage of the damage. In St. Lucie County, there was a sheriff's building that is now just a pile of mangled metal, and we're talking about a 10,000 square foot building that has just been destroyed by a reported tornado. We also got some traffic cam in from Fort Pierce, Florida, where you just see these huge debris flying by as there is a funnel cloud there. And there are also reports of some injuries in some places as a result of these tornadoes. The good news is that a number of those tornado watches did expire at 9 p.m. So there's hopes that we will not see any more of that tonight, but certainly a very terrifying experience on top of an already very destructive and potentially deadly storm. Tom?
Okay, Priscilla Thompson first. Priscilla, we appreciate it. We thank you for all your reporting. Please stay safe. I do want to talk to the emergency management operator for Sarasota County, where we are tonight. Oh, okay. I think we're gonna dial in and talk to her soon. Do we still have Priscilla? All right, Priscilla. We still have you, so I think we're going to stick with you for a little bit. But while we do this, I want to show the people we're talking about, people in the looky-loos not taking things seriously. There's a couple on a motorcycle right now, just going through a massive hurricane. Again, we're in the eye, so it's calm, but probably not the best idea, especially when the storm surge has started. You can see it here. The water is rising, and it's actually rising surprisingly fast. I mean, I've covered hurricanes before, and you see that storm surge come in, but you can actually see the rate at which the water's coming in, pushing some of the debris. Luckily, there were no debris piles out here on the coast of Sarasota. We know that in the neighborhoods and the suburbs there are, but thankfully they cleared out all that debris here. The wind's still not that strong. Priscilla, I'm curious, where you are in Orlando, what kind of effects are you feeling from the hurricane?
Yeah, Tom, so the rain is starting to come down harder. Already we're seeing some water beginning to pool on some of the roadways here, and the winds are also starting to pick up. And so right now officials are saying if you are not yet sheltering, you have about a half hour to do that before the worst of this storm is expected to move in and make things a lot more complicated here. And what is interesting about this area is that during Hurricane Ian, they saw devastating flooding, and Milton is expected to be far worse. We're talking about up to 14 inches of rain here that could just cause catastrophic flooding in addition to the 80-mile-per-hour winds. And there are people who have evacuated to this area. I spoke to a woman who lives in St. Petersburg, said that she lost everything during Hurricane Helene. All that she has left there is a 10-foot by 10-foot storage unit that is on the first floor in St. Petersburg with all of her life's possessions. They drove up here to Orlando today, and she is just numb. She says that she doesn't know what to expect. I want to play a little bit of that conversation I had with her.
You're really kind of numb. You're really just kind of numb. We've all been in shock. Just your adrenaline just takes over. We've been through a lot of suffering, so I think we understand suffering in just such different ways, and I know that we get through it.
On and
so many people here just
lady, but
feeling lost. And that woman, I don't know if you could see, was clutching a rosary. And she told me that she has been praying nonstop, hoping that this storm will not be as bad as it is projected to be, especially here in Orlando, where she and her family are sheltering. Tom?
All right, Priscilla, we thank you for that. We have Sandra Tapfumane on the phone right now. She's in charge of the emergency management for Sarasota County. Sandra, thanks for joining us once again in our special coverage. The eye is passing over Sarasota. It's been very calm, at least where we have been for the last hour or so. The winds are now starting to pick up. Have you gotten any reports about any kind of emergency situation so far? And what are you monitoring?
Yeah, hi, thanks so much for having us on. So right now we have not gotten too many reports of any emergencies. We do anticipate that to increase as the eye wall or the eye passes over the county. Right now it was going over Siesta Key and starting to hit inland a little bit. So it is eerily calm here, and we know that that's not going to be the case in a short time. We're expecting the storm to deteriorate with the conditions.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm here live in Sarasota. We're right by the bay. The storm surge, you can actually see it coming up now. I'd say it's about ankle high where we are, and we're a little bit above sea level here, so it's coming in. Have you gotten reports about the storm surge yet?
So we did see, we were watching some Department of Transportation cameras along the Philippi Creek, and it looked like it was starting to flood that area, and some reports about Venice Beach having a couple of feet of storm surge down south. It is starting, and I anticipate that, we're going to have multiple feet. We're really hoping that we're not going to get that high end of the 12-foot projection at this point. I mean, we just had Hurricane Helene that created a lot of devastation to the coastline, and that was only 5 to 6 feet. So, anywhere above that, really any storm surge on top of what we already had is going to be a very, very catastrophic situation for the county.
What are you hearing about power outages? Here, the power is out where we are. We're seeing transformers explode in the distance. Have you got any reports about that?
Yeah, we are starting to hear about different parts of the county that are without power. Really, there's a lot of areas that are. So we are trying to get an assessment from FPL to get a total count of how many are out. But that was an anticipation with the high winds. 120 mile per hour winds is definitely going to take out a lot of the power. So right now, we're looking at 160,000 out of power, and anticipate that to increase.
All right, Sandra Tapfumane, we appreciate you, and I know we're going to stay in contact throughout the night. Thank you for all that you're doing for the people of Sarasota.
Damn, that's just crazy. Let me try to see what else they have.
When we come back, we're going to have
Who's that? Operator Papa. I don't know who that is. I did have videos from earlier. Let's see. Damn, that looks pretty bad. Let's see. Damn. That's Hurricane Ian tripping. Wrong hurricane. Trying to find that video I had from earlier. Where was it at? There's like a tornado that hit, and it took out a bunch of the area. I don't know exactly where it was, but there was a tornado that hit, and it tore up this small town. But that's also what sucks, You have to worry about tornadoes spinning off and shit like that. That happened in the area I was living in 2017. Missed my neighborhood by maybe about half a mile. Damn. I'm just clicking on random videos, seeing what I can find. As I just got off of work and then went and had a beer and then came home. Weather warfare comes from the 1700s. I didn't know that. Look at this. Damn. That's a category 3. Something's odd about these hurricanes, man. And the reason why I say this is, how do they go from a 1 to a 4 or a 1 to a 5 in a matter of hours? Like, I've never heard of that. Something's definitely not adding up here. It's like, how did this hurricane go from a 1 to a 5, like, in a matter of like 3 hours? That doesn't sound right, you know? I mean, I'm not saying I'm a global warming guy, but, you know, I don't know what's going on. But the weather seems, over the years, seems like it's a little bit different than when I was growing up witnessing the weather, you know? Like, for example, like we get, you know, like in 2021, we had a great freeze here. It was like temperatures were like in the single digits. That's very rare for something like that to happen. Like, I've seen Houston get below freezing point, which freezing point's what, 32 degrees? So I've seen it drop in the 20s, and that was pretty cold. You know, if there's a wind gust that might bring it down to 17, 16, 15, the lowest I've seen was 13. And then all of a sudden, 2021, we had temperatures drop to like 4 degrees and then -6 with the wind chill. That's very rare in Houston to have something like that. Like, I don't think we've ever had single digit weather here ever. And this is like the first time. It's crazy, you know, like I had a buddy of mine that lives in San Diego. We were talking and he was telling me how, you know, San Diego's typically what, 75-degree weather? Not even the hottest month of the year is like 75, 80 tops. Well, now they've been getting 100-degree weather down there. Now, again, I'm not all on the conspiracy theory experts, but it's freaking weird, right? I mean, you know, when you talk about 100-degree weather in San Diego, that's pretty hot. And like, for this, usually typically we get cooler temperatures like cold fronts in October here in Houston. And in October, we're supposed to get temperatures like maybe mid 80s, mid 70s, like somewhere in that range. Well, today it was 93 degrees. And we're going on October 10th, and it was 93 degrees. Now, that's summer weather right there. That's, you know, I was walking out to my car about 4 days ago, and I was like, damn, it's so fucking hot out here. Like, god damn, like I was opening the car and all this heat came out and I was like, how the fuck is it still almost 100 degrees out here? It was 99 degrees like 4 days ago. I'm like, how is that possible? Like, we're supposed to be getting cooler temperatures, like mid 80s to the low 80s to the mid 70s. But we're still in the 90-degree weather range, almost tipping 100 in the middle of what looks like the middle of October. That's just very rare. In fact, unheard of. And that's why I just said this is freaking weird weather that we're getting lately, you know? Crazy, isn't it? John Kerry, the First Amendment should be removed. To pretend that the government cares is a joke. Go listen to Justin Bieber's song backwards. Global warming was always, you know, again, I'm not saying I'm a global warming guy. Like, I'm not like trying to like, you know, to say, oh, you know, I'm, you know, global warming, this and that. But it's just something is odd with this weather. Like, it's just definitely, it's weird because I, you know, again, like the temperatures around the United States are different than how they used to be. It's almost like a reverse effect. You know, like I was watching this news the other day. We were talking about there was snowfall expected in Mexico, like southern Mexico. And I'm like, well, that's very rare because they're not supposed to get snow down there because it's closer to the equator. It's supposed to be typically hot unless it's just snowing in the mountains or something like that. Then, you know, you can, okay, well, then maybe that's possible because of the elevation. So, you know, the mountains are closer towards the sky. Cold air seems to rise, right? So you would think, okay, well, that must explain the snow in Mexico. But then I'm like, wait a minute, but you're talking about South Mexico is getting winter months. That just doesn't sound like that logically make any sense. And it's just all this weird, odd weather has been going on, you know? Like, I don't know, maybe it's just the spray the stratosphere with the stuff allegedly about cools out sunlight. The real reason is to make people stupid. Like I said, I'm not a global warming guy. I've always been against it, but you know, I don't know what to think about this weird weather. and the hurricanes are a lot more stronger now. Um, they develop a lot faster than they used to, and just something doesn't seem right about it. Like, to go from a 1 to a 5 just that quickly in 3 hours, it just doesn't sound right. Like, most of the time it takes weeks to months, or a week maybe, to develop that fast, that quickly. And now you're hearing, oh well, 4 hours ago it was a 1, now it's a 5. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, something don't seem odd about that. American food is banned in Europe. Yeah, I heard about that. Absolutely. 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 Like I said, with all these hurricanes coming and stuff, and now FEMA's probably going to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. That's not good. How are these people expected to get paid for the damages done on their house? How are they expected to get that? It's going to be a good question. That's just like insurance companies. You pay into them all the time on the first of the month, and bastards tell you you're covered here and there. And then as soon as it's time to file a claim, oh, you're only covered up to this much. Oh, you didn't meet your deductible. Oh, well, did you see the new policy that we wrote? Oh, it doesn't cover that anymore. You have to pay more. And it's like they just try to figure out any way to deny as many claims as possible. That's how insurance companies work. I've dealt with them. The same thing with car insurance, life insurance, health insurance, FEMA, fucking HOA, HOA is not an insurance company, but anytime you deal with insurance companies, this is what they do. They try to bring in as much policyholders as they can and try to pay out as least claims as possible. That's why I hate insurance companies. I hate dealing with them, because this is the bullshit they do. And it's like, oh, well, you need car insurance, you need health insurance. I'm like, okay, first of all, let's just make one thing publicly clear. Health insurance should be a right, not a privilege. Like, you should have access to health care, right? Because this is not if, it's a matter of when you're going to have to go to a doctor, right? You could be sick. Your grandmother could be sick, or whatever the case is. Like, it should be a right to have health insurance, like, not a fucking privilege, like some people argue it out to be. And this idea that they could deny you for pre-existing injuries or cases or illnesses, to me is just absurd and ludicrous. It's the same thing with, like, these other companies, these other insurance forms of insurance. The same thing. It's like they want to kiss your ass long enough to say, pay me, make the monthly payment, and you make the monthly payment. And then it's like, when you actually need them, they find a way to weasel out of not wanting to cover your claim. And this is bullshit, because, people are paying into these. So, like, what's the purpose of me paying insurance for something that you're just going to try to find some way to not cover it anyway? So, like, what's the fucking purpose of me having insurance? I might as well just wait till I actually get sick and then just cover the cost. Oh, well, you need it because it's deductibles and stuff like that. And the insurance will cost less versus if you just went in out of pocket. Absolutely. But, like, the thing is if you're denying claims and you're trying to find ways to weasel out of not paying on your end when it's time when people actually need to use the service, and you find ways to weasel out, what's the purpose of me having it? Well, that's good that your state has Beth health care. Some states don't. And that's what I'm saying. It's like they try to find ways to weasel out of not wanting to cover it. And especially FEMA. FEMA is known for that shit. And especially, like, when it comes to natural disasters, hurricanes, tornadoes, shit like that. They want to find any way not to fucking pay, man. They're being funded millions of dollars by our taxpayers, which not to note that their COs are making millions of dollars in payouts, and yet they still do this shit. Makes you wonder if it's some sort of, pyramid scheme or something, or just some sort of bullshit trick just to get you to pay for something they're never going to cover. I mean, it's just, hate dealing with I hate insurance companies. I hate it. When it's time to file a claim, I hate them. we'll try to basically. I agree, Mr. Boston. I'm just looking at more of the coverage. Look at that, carrying a big ass dumpster, and dumpsters are heavy, by the way. If it has the strength to carry a dumpster like that, man, that's pretty. The winds and the water must be strong enough to carry it because dumpsters are heavy. Pretty much, Mr. Boston. Do you think hurricanes are man-made? Marvin said. You know, that's a good question. People say it is. I mean, that's a good question. You know, I mean, many conspiracy theorists says that that hurricanes are in fact man-made, but some people say it's just a force of Mother Nature. Because, I mean, if you think about it, it could be man-made, but then again, why is it that hurricanes only seem to hit the United States? Or they'll seem to hit like southern Latin America or the Caribbean islands or whatever. But they never rarely hit anybody else. Like you'll never see a hurricane in Africa or a hurricane in Canada, even though it has hit there, but it's just very rare that it travels that far. Look at that. Wow. They can modify them? Oh shit. Oh, they can't happen on their own? Look at that shit. The back end of the storm is going to be really dangerous. When the eye wall passes, like Sarasota and Fort Myers, and that eye wall starts to pass, and it's going to bring in all that torrential rain from the back end, and those wind gusts are going to reach 130 miles an hour, man, you better be fucking careful. You're looking at possibly a storm surge of, I wouldn't even be surprised, 12 feet. Maybe as high as 12 feet. If you got winds coming in at 135 miles an hour off the tail end, and that eye wall passes Sarasota, and it starts entering into Fort Myers and that western end of Florida, that southern tip, oh man, you guys are going to get slammed with fucking storm surges, bro. And you're looking at possibly, again, 130 mile an hour winds on the back end. Not to mention all the water that's coming in, that's pushing all that water, man. So that's what sucks. But the good news is that Tampa Bay avoided the southern end of it. And now they got the northern end, so they're going to see what's called a reversed storm surge, where water is going to be pulled from the waters are going to be pulled from the Tampa Bay area in the coast, and then it's going to those high winds are then going to swish and bring all that water and bring that storm surge up to the southern end on the eastern side. So you're going to have Sarasota, fucking Fort Myers, and all those areas over there are going to get fucking slammed with fucking storm surges, possibly 12 to 15 feet, man. That's going to be really bad. So, like I said, if I would seek high ground as high as I could if I'm living off the coast, man, inland, and I would just try to stay on a third or fourth story somewhere in a high-rising building that has an infrastructure, probably not like a regular house, but I would probably try to stay in like a hotel or something that's got heavy infrastructure, that's bolted in the ground with bell-bottom piers. And if cemented block, I'm talking about 10,000 square foot fucking perimeter, I probably would take my chances of staying at a hotel on the fourth floor somewhere, even if I had to sleep on the floor to avoid that surge. That's probably what I would do. I sailed through hurricanes, Bob. Oh, shit. No, I can't. Our new world order is crowned with success. Oh, shit. Expected to be 30 to 40 feet in a Cat 5. Yeah, man, it's going to be pretty bad. That's what I'm saying. The eye wall's passing, so it's calm right now. But once the eye wall passes, all that water that was taken from Tampa Bay area, and it's going to be brought all the way around for that storm surge when the tail end of the eastern part of the storm comes, man, I feel bad for people in that area. It's going to be pretty bad. You know, and the scary thing is that what is this? You know, I know Florida is a destined spot for real estate because Florida and Arizona are the top two leading states in the United States where retirees go. Like, for example, Florida has over 10% of population that are retired, which is the highest percentage amongst all 50 states or whatever, how many fucking states we have. They had so many over the years. So 10% of the state is retirees, and then Arizona comes in second, I think at like 8%, 8.5%, somewhere around there. So they fall in second. And so people go there. Why? Because the tropical weather, the lack of cold weather. So you're going to get warm weather. You're going to get that nice cool breeze that kind of moderates those heated temperatures. And not to mention, you don't have state taxes in Florida too, so that helps. So you can go there, retire. The cost of living was relatively low, or what it used to be low. And it was a nice place to retire. You know, you can go and fucking put your boat out in the Bay Area and just, you know, retire. Now that's not necessarily the case, you know. For my folks in Florida that it has passed. Okay, that's good. Like I said, from what I'm hearing, that the tail end of the storm's supposed to still hit, according to what I'm hearing on the news. But like, again, if it passed and everyone's okay, that's fine. But I'm hearing like tornadoes hitting those areas, and I'm like, that sucks. I've been through that. 13 fruit, 13 arrows, 13 stars, 13 stripes, and 13 bars. So here's a question. Do you think hurricanes are man-made? That was a question asked to me. If it is, why does it keep hitting the United States? That's what I'm wondering. If that is the case, and hurricanes develop mostly by Africa, and they start shooting out, it's like a dam, like they're shooting out, like in like a Mega Man X, and they're shooting out those lasers and just shooting out those hurricanes. Now I know they develop too in the Gulf of Mexico too, so we get developments there too, but mostly in the Atlantic Ocean. I'm curious why they keep coming and hitting us. So if it is man-made, I wonder why it keeps hitting over here. With 3,600 years ago, I'm curious to know if like, well, I know in oh, that's a good one, Marvin. In the Pacific Ocean, they got the cyclones or whatever they call them, typhoons, and they hit places like Japan and China and stuff. They get monsoons or what they call tsunamis. They get a lot of that. So yeah, they get different parts of weather over there. But I'm just wondering why we get all the hurricanes. That's still what I'm trying to figure out. Is why we still get hurricanes. In 2044, you'll see. Shit, if we even make it to 2044, I think the world will end 10 years before that. I think so. I got the world ending in 2034. People say I'm nuts when I bring it up. I'm like, well, I think that when the final eclipse forms that X over the Middle East, I think that'll be the final mark of the beast. That's what I predict. So I predict 2034, the world will end. You know, the Mayan calendar was 2012. You had the Y2K bug in 2000. You had Nostradamus predicting it, and we're supposed to have this big asteroid hit the Earth in 2029. I've been hearing about that. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick, since we're on the topic of it, right? Asteroid hitting the Earth, and I'll let you watch the video on it in 2029. But they have a bunch of theories though about the Earth getting hit. I'll try to find a video that'll actually. It's supposed to be a Apophis asteroid will be visible April 13th, 2029. And they're predicting that the Earth will get hit by a giant asteroid similar to the one that took out the dinosaurs. and it's called Apophis. It'll either hit in 2029 or some scientists say 2036. So we'll just go ahead and watch a video on it. Fuck it. I'll just click on a random one. Let's go watch it. And we got nothing else to do, right?
On April 13th, 2029, an asteroid known as Apophis will approach Earth. Named after the Egyptian god of chaos, this 370-meter asteroid is now recognized for its potential to come alarmingly close to our planet Earth. Scientists have long monitored the trajectory of the asteroid Apophis, continually updating its chances of an impact with Earth. But the question remains, will Apophis hit Earth? We'll examine the latest research on the closest approach of Apophis, look into potential impact scenarios, and analyze the methods that we can use to deflect an asteroid. Asteroid 99,942, known as Apophis, was discovered in 2004 and has since become popular among astronomers. It's part of the Aten asteroids, a group that often comes near Earth. Apophis stands out because it's one of the biggest asteroids to come this close to our planet. Apophis is an asteroid about 370 meters wide, roughly as long as 3 football fields placed together.
Damn.
Its large size and path have made it very fascinating to scientists. Early predictions gave it a 2.7% chance of hitting Earth in 2029.
Okay, Mr. Cylinder, you're right.
Consider the energy of 65,000 atomic bombs exploding simultaneously. Such an impact could level cities and cause widespread destruction. With advancements in technology and new findings, we now have a better understanding of the path of Apophis. Worldwide radar and telescope observations have improved our knowledge of its course.
Hey, if you know videos or whatever, Mr. Boston, and I could look that information up and we could watch, let me know, man. I'm gonna finish watching this video, but if you got like not a link, but if you got like where I could find it on YouTube, then I'll look it up, man.
Over time, these predictions have become more accurate. By 2013, NASA had determined that Apophis will pass by Earth in 2029 and 2036, and at a safe distance of about 31,000 kilometers, which is even closer than some satellites orbiting our planet.
Sure, if you want.
This event is called a close flyby. It will give scientists a short chance to closely study an asteroid like Apophis. The information.
That's the same thing I'm thinking, Mr. Cylinder. It's like, you know, like they say you have less than a 1% chance of winning the lottery, but if you do win the lottery, then you're that person, right? So it's like, even though 2%, 2.7, let's just round it to 3 just for shits and giggles, right? And they say we have a 3% chance that asteroid's going to hit, but now you would think, okay, well, there's a 97% chance I can gamble on that. But what if that 3% does happen, right? Because it's still like it's a possibility, not probability, but it's still a possibility that it could happen. And it's like saying, well, the odds of it hitting the Earth is, I mean, it's very rare, but what if it does? And then, you know, it's going to suck, because then it's like, well, fuck, right? Because it's like, well, it's a 3% chance it wasn't supposed to hit, and it fucking hit us. You know, and it's like, fuck, you know? But anyways, let's go ahead and, let me go ahead and hit this.
Will then be used for further observation of any future asteroids that could pose a threat to Earth. Scientists are sure Apophis won't hit Earth in 2029. However, its close flyby gives us a chance to think about what-if situations. What if it was on a different path? Knowing about these possible dangers helps us get ready for other asteroids that might be more threatening. When Apophis comes close in 2029, it will go through a gravitational keyhole. A gravitational keyhole is a small area in space where Earth's gravity could change its orbit, possibly making it hit Earth later. Let's look at what could happen if an asteroid like Apophis hit Earth. It could release an energy equivalent to 1,150 megatons of TNT.
Damn.
Way more than the biggest nuclear bomb.
Damn.
If it hit the ocean, it could cause cause huge tsunamis and destroy coastal cities. A hit on land could wipe out big cities and throw debris into the air, changing the climate and temperature. This debris could block the sun, causing an impact winter that would badly affect farming and food all over the world. Tiny particles could stay in the air for years, changing the climate for a long time. Space agencies around the world know these risks and are working hard to keep track of asteroids and find ways to stop them from hitting us. NASA's DART mission tested how to push asteroids away, which is important for protecting our planet. Even though Apophis won't hit us in 2029 and 2036, it reminds us of the dangers in space. Every time we watch it and gather data, we learn more about how to avoid a disaster in the future. NASA's careful studies and constant watch have given us good news. Earth won't be in danger from asteroids like Apophis for at least 100 years. Thanks to advanced radar technology and continuous monitoring, we're now certain of its path. Using high-tech radars in California and West Virginia, NASA's experts have tracked Apophis's path with great accuracy, even when it was 10.6 million miles away. This precise tracking means Apophis is no longer seen as a risk for hitting Earth. There used to be a small worry about an impact in 2068, but new information has shown that won't happen. Now, Apophis is seen as a chance for scientists to learn a lot. On April 13th, 2029, Apophis will come very close to Earth, closer than some satellites. This event will let astronomers study an asteroid closely without telescopes. Watching Apophis when it's near could improve our knowledge of its peanut-like shape. We might learn more about its surface, what it's made of, and its inner structure. Earth's gravity will affect Apophis's spin during this visit, which might cause asteroid quakes. Asteroid quakes are small seismic activities that occur on an asteroid, similar to earthquakes on Earth. They can be caused by the gravitational pull from a nearby planet or moon. Studying the close flyby of Apophis could teach us a lot about how asteroids act when they come near planets. As Apophis gets closer, it will pass over the Indian Ocean, Africa, and the Atlantic. It will be bright enough to see without telescopes from the Eastern Hemisphere. People will see Apophis in the sky when it's closest to Earth, about 20,000 miles up. This is a rare chance to see such an event with the naked eye. This visit is important for scientists because Earth's gravity will change Apophis's path a bit. This will help us learn about how space objects move and help us predict their paths. This flyby will let astronomers do many studies. They'll look closely at Apophis's size, shape, what it's made of, and its surface. Telescopes on the ground, radars, and space observatories will work together to study Apophis. They want to know if its spin changes after it passes by Earth. The flyby might also cause asteroid quakes, the small shakes from Earth's gravity. These could tell us what's inside Apophis and help us predict.
Hey, man, Mr. Boston, if you think that's bad, you should see what I have to deal with on here. I mean, I'm not like trying to take up for anybody. I'm just saying, like, the trolls I get are 10 times worse to me. Like, they actually do a lot worse to me behind the scenes. So, yeah, I hear you. And then when you become a video maker, you have to kind of get used to it, you know? Why do you think all my juicy videos are on private right now? You know, there's a reason for it. So, like, right now, I'm laying low on politics until after the elections. That's when I'll start discussing it again. But till then, I'm gonna kind of lay low for a little bit. But I can still, you know, cover discussions about, you know, hurricanes and shit like that. So I'm still gonna kind of float and tiptoe across that rope, that fine rope. But I'm gonna try to keep my balance instead of swaying too far off the rope. That makes sense. That doesn't sound like that makes sense, but you know where I'm going with that.
Predict where it will go next. The 2029 flyby won't just be an amazing sight. it will help science.
I'm gonna save your link. Mr. Boston, actually, this would be better if you did this. If you can copy and paste that link to a random video, like any video, it doesn't matter. Like, I guess go to my recent ones and put it under my notifications so that way it'll show up on my notification here, and I can just click on the link straight from there. If you can do that, that'd be great, you know?
It can also help us get ready for other asteroids and teach us more about space. It's a chance to see how well we can protect our planet.
It's almost over. It's only got 2 minutes left.
The 2029 flyby of Apophis is not just a chance to observe. It is also a key test for our asteroid defense plans. We have figured out some methods that can change the course of an asteroid headed for Earth. The first method is to push an asteroid away from its path by hitting it. The second method is using a spacecraft's gravity to pull it off course. And the last hope is to using a nuclear blasts to nudge it. The kinetic impactor technique involves sending a spacecraft to collide with an asteroid, transferring momentum to alter its trajectory away from Earth. NASA's DART mission was the first test of this kind. It involved crashing a spacecraft into an asteroid on purpose to change its path. This test was successful, and the target asteroid lost approximately 1 million kilograms of mass because of this collision. The gravity tractor method is another idea for asteroid defense. It's about having a spacecraft fly near an asteroid for a long time. The small gravitational force between them can slowly change the asteroid's path, moving it away from Earth without using any explosions. Nuclear deflection is a method used only if everything else fails. It doesn't mean destroying the asteroid, as that could break it into billions of debris. Rather, a nuclear blast would happen close to the asteroid. The blast's heat and energy would turn part of the asteroid into vapor. This vapor will push the asteroid onto a different path. That's why observatories all over the world are always watching the skies. They're finding asteroids, figuring out their paths, and keeping track of them. Space agencies and companies are working together to make better tools for spotting.
You know, like I said, this kind of stuff is interesting now since we're on the topic of hurricanes. I'm like, do you guys think that hurricanes are man-made? All right. PP Man 777. Really hard right now. Pretty crazy. Rain is nuts, but man, still. Well, I hope you're all right, dude. I hope you're okay. You know? Let's see. Type in our hurricanes man-made. See what just shows up. Fuck it. Since we're already here, why not? Bill Nye explains science behind Hurricane Milton. Huh. Interesting. I like Bill Nye the science guy. Who doesn't? They can only be strengthened. Oh, they've been doing weather modifications? I didn't know that. We don't know about, like this guy was talking about DARPA. They do some dark shit. We have 200 patients for making them. They can only be strengthened. Okay. All right. This guy here says he knows that it's man-made, but like I said, it's all just. Imagine if hurricanes were man-made and we found out. Like, just imagine, you know, like the effects that it would have. If that is the case. I mean, just imagine if that did happen. Shit is crazy. Or they were saying that they could that there was a way that they could get rid of hurricanes. I was watching a special on this years ago. They were talking about how they could drop like these molecules in the hurricane and it's supposed to suck water up and it's supposed to make the hurricane disperse. And I don't know exactly like how that was created. They talked about that, but it never went into effect. Obviously, I don't know what happened in that case, but you know, they start off as tropical depressions. Yeah. Okay. I'll definitely take a look at it. I'm just gonna go ahead and see what Bill Nye has to say. Why not?
Go to Wix.
Look, I'm not saying I believe in climate change, but obviously that's what he's getting into.
Pleasure to see you. It's very difficult times that we're talking, you and I, about today. But Milton went from a tropical storm to a Cat 5 in just over a day. Hurricanes are nothing new, but this level of intensity is so unusual, Bill.
It's unusual and scientifically interesting, but very, very troubling.
Cloud seeding, yeah, that's what it was. They use weather control in Saudi Arabia and Dubai. I didn't know that.
Not just by
look into HARP. Okay, let me write that down.
The names, both Helene and Milton, is so serious. So here's the striking thing: the hurricane is coming from the southwest going to the northeast, not from the southeast going to the northwest, and it's going into a part of the Gulf of Mexico that has this extraordinary thing called the loop current, and it reminds me very much of gears spinning together, where one gear drives the other gear. And so the hurricane, it naturally has a counterclockwise spin in the northern hemisphere through this remarkable thing, the Coriolis effect. And then it's getting amplified by the spin of the sea right there, the Gulf of Mexico. Now, you've probably been to Clearwater, Florida.
Well, I'm not saying I believe him. I'm just saying that I just wanted to hear his take. You know, not saying necessarily I agree with him. I used to watch his show, Bill Nye the Science Guy. But, you know, yeah, I mean, if hurricanes are man-made, why does it just hit us? That's my question. I mean, if let's just say it's true, then like, why is it just they're directly aiming it specifically 99% of the time? It's like always hits the United States. It's like, was it planned? Was that supposed to be planned? You know? I don't know. I mean, that's a good question, you know? Like I said, we got the let's see what else we have here. Like I said, I've been watching a lot of end of the world shit going on, man. Let's see. Is that okay, so we haven't seen the storm surge yet. Let's see if population reduction. Population reduction. It is possible, yeah. But I'm wondering, like, we have what, over 9, or what is it? How many people here in the United States? Like 700 million or something like that, or 900 million, something like that. Ugh. That's the one where destroyed that police station there. Yep. And there was a powerful tornado that hit. And those tornadoes are no joke, by the way. Sometimes I even think that tornadoes are worse than hurricanes. To a degree. Paying lives. 379 million. So if you can't pay your bills, just over 400 million. I think it's like 440. Somewhere around there. Wow. So yeah, we damn, so we are getting overpopulated here. Maybe this is a reduction. Look at that. Which make sure that this was the right hurricane. Is this just the one that? Oh, that's Ian. My bad. I don't know why Ian keeps showing up on mine. Yeah. Like I said, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But it looks like, where's the storm at right now? What's up with all these ads, man? I'm not paying to take the ads off. No thanks.
It's this band of rain from the western portions of Orange County and pockets of heavier tropical blinding downpours from Apopka stretching all the way over to DeLand, set up right over I-4 and parts of I-95 in Volusia County between Daytona Beach and Oak Hill. And there's still more developing off of our coastline, sitting right off of our coast, feeding on a lot of that ocean moisture continuing to spew into central Florida. So we have a flash flood warning for Lake Orange, Seminole, and Volusia counties. This is going to go until 6 o'clock in the morning. When they mean it's radar indicated, we have been pinging rainfall precipitation amounts of around 6-7 inches with more on the way, but also gauge indicated. So you have parts of the St. Johns, you have the Little Kaiba River, things like that, places like that where we get those gauges and we see that the water is rising and it is flooding. For the most part, though, the center of Milton is trying to make its way offshore. Not there yet. It's going to slowly get there throughout the morning, but I do believe by late morning we should eventually get there. Gusty winds now picking up for parts of Brevard County, the Cape gusting to almost 70 miles per hour, 40 miles per hour as well, and even parts of Melbourne gusting to about 65 miles per hour. And in some of those heavier downpours, not only is it going to be hard to see, but it's also going to be pretty gusty. Winds are gradually subsiding here in Orange County, but they're still pretty breezy, just not as gusty as...
Okay, so it's in the center of Florida now.
Milton. So at least for the 2 o'clock advisory, we have winds of 90 miles per hour. That's going to be more along the lines of gusts. Every hour, those winds are gradually weakening as Milton has that land interaction. So we will continue to monitor the latest with Milton by late morning. This is going to sit off or be off of our coastline, and then we'll have to transition to a little bit of a storm surge coastal threat. But right now, Eric, there are so many people without power.
Right, and as a matter of fact, as far as the state of Florida goes, almost a quarter of the residents, 24% of Florida is without power. And just within the last few minutes, these numbers have gone up dramatically. 40,000 residents without power now in Orlando's Orange County, where it's 66,000 for Marion and Volusia County, and 170,000 down here in Polk County. Widening the shot out, though, I think that this will really show you, and we use this during Helene to kind of give an...
Largest lithium deposit? I didn't know that. Oh, so it's just a tropical storm now.
The hardest hit areas you can clearly see from Hillsborough County at 71% of residents without power down to Sarasota County with 86%. You get the idea of kind of the hardest hit spots, and unfortunately those winds are trickling those power outages around. Now, just within the last few hours' time, look at some of the wind gusts that we received around town. Marineland had a wind gust not long ago of 88 miles an hour. It's still very much a hurricane outside. You need to stay in it. And I'll have you know that even our live crews that are coming to you are always doing so with a wall protecting them so that the winds are behind them so we can visualize it, but that they're not necessarily getting true hurricane winds where debris could hit them. So a little trick of the trade, but that's how we're staying safe. So I don't want you just going outside and doing the Florida Man video, okay? Orlando International had a gust of 86 miles an hour. Daytona Beach, 84. The Four Corners gusted to 78 miles per hour, and even Melbourne had a gust of 75. This is why all of Central Florida, from coast to coast, north and south, were under hurricane warnings. Just about every nook and cranny got hurricane gusts. Now, within just the last few moments' time, we're gusting to 29 at Executive. We're gusting to about 24 at International. Sanford went up to 66 a bit ago, now sitting with a gust of about
it's possibility,
Here in Brevard County, you can see Melbourne's gusting to 63 currently. We're at about 39 at the Kennedy Space Center.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Landing facility, and about 59 miles per hour over at the Cape Canaveral Space Force Base. But there's that counterclockwise spin. Little by little, as this moves out, we'll calm the winds. It's just going to take a little while. But for now, it's still just rain and wind, although I will say this is looking much better than it was just a little bit ago. So through about 9, 10, 11, 12 o'clock, we're into dangerous weather. Just kind of depends on if it's the flood threat or if it's the wind threat. But into the afternoon, look at how the rain chances are dropping and how the overall weather picture is getting better and better. We've said it before, we'll say it again. We're going to get through this. It's a rough one, but we're now kind of on the back side of it. So little by little, let Milton push away, let the crews then clean things up, and we'll be able to get on with our lives. A really nice couple of days ahead. We'll talk more about that always trying to put a silver lining in here, okay? See you guys in just a couple minutes.
Yeah, thank you for that silver lining. And we want to remind you, as this storm, which is moving through our area right now here in Central Florida, we will potentially see so many more power outages than Eric was just showing us there. And if you can't watch us on your television, West 2 is simulcasting, and we've got.
Man, I can't believe I'm already up, and it's 1:38 a.m. Man, I'm already just watching hurricane footage. I just said, "Fuck it, I'm bored." Look, here's Hurricane Milton sucking the water out of Tampa Bay. What they call a reverse storm surge.
Always put the ones
Let me
but when it comes to
upload that video.
Now it's hard to truly understand just how strong these
Watch
winds
this.
are. It may make you a little dizzy, but this video is from a drone. It's in the middle of the ocean. It paints a picture of what that looks like out there.
Yeah, this was taken as Milton moved ashore. Look at how huge the waves are in the middle of those Category 3 strength, strong winds.
Now, these strong winds can create an interesting phenomenon. This was in Tampa Bay after Hurricane Irma in 2017. The winds physically sucked the water out of the bay, creating a sort of reverse storm surge. And it appears this may be happening once again.
Reporter Brian Hinton is in Tampa along the bay.
So this is Tampa Bay. Look at this. All the water has run out of the bay. We just walked over here. Louise is shooting. We're along Bayshore Boulevard. Hopefully you can hear me. The water is gone, so it has been sucked out by Milton, which we suspected was going to happen. Our light's not bright enough to see how far out it goes, but I don't see it.
Damn.
As far as I can see.
Now, Tampa Bay officials issued an urgent warning tonight. Do not walk into the receding water in the bay. The water will return through storm surge.
Yeah, they have what's called the reverse storm surge. That's on like the western part of the tornado. I mean, of the hurricane. And that's crazy. Multiple death confirms. I'm gonna look at that one real quick.
Now at 11, flood emergencies, punishing winds, and multiple tornadoes. Tonight, Hurricane Milton makes landfall as a Category 3 storm. As we've just learned, it has already claimed lives.
Damn, that sucks.
Christine Johnson.
I'm Maurice Dubois, and hours after making landfall as a Cat 3 storm, Milton is carving out a devastating path across the state of Florida. Here's a live look now. Fort Myers, which is seeing all kinds of rain and winds.
Milton officially made landfall around 8:30 tonight near Siesta Key, just south of Sarasota. It is now a Category 2 storm, but is still producing wind gusts over 100 miles per hour. And tonight, the St. Lucie County Sheriff is confirming multiple deaths in Fort Pierce. Search and rescue efforts are now currently underway, and more than 1.5 million customers are without power. Now, Tampa avoided a direct hit, but flash flooding is a huge concern there. The storm spawned nearly 24 tornadoes earlier in the day.
We have team coverage of Hurricane
Controlling the weather? Wow.
Senior national weather correspondent Rob Marciano in Bradenton, Florida. And Rob, take us through it all. Like, what's it about? What's it feel like right now?
When you
God damn it, these goddamn ads.
Let's play with Mahatma Rice.
Don't you just love it? These ads. Yeah, that shit's crazy. Hey, if you guys want to watch something really cool, I know that you're probably not into this kind of stuff because it's like kind of like fictional. But I listen to like a lot of audios, and so like what I'll do is I'll type in ambient. Hold on, ambient. Hold on. Escapade. So basically, I mean, there's other channels that do this, but this guy, what he does is he creates scenarios, right? He's like kind of like an author, and he'll put together a scenario of like, for example, a zombie apocalypse, and he'll have it set up to where like it gives you the kind of like dream world make believe that you're in a room and that it's the end of the world. And, you know, like it'll say radio shelter during worldwide natural disaster, ice age apocalypse. He's got one for that. I'm subbed to his channel, so I watch like a lot of his content. So he makes really good, like make believe scenarios. So if you ever just like, so like, you know, back in the day, like my teachers used to listen to would make us listen to the audio of like stories and stuff. It's kind of like something similar to that. You know, I kind of like that kind of stuff. So, you know, it's an audio book and it's worth reading. Look up The Secret Teachings of All Ages. Okay, let me write that down. Give me a second. Let me write that down since I'm Secret Teachings of All Ages. Hold on. Secret Teaching of All Ages. I got my notes with me, so let me write it down. Secret Teachings of All Ages. Okay. It's a 13-hour book. Okay, let me note that down. 13-hour book. Manly Palmer Hall. Is that the author? It sounds pretty damn cool. Like, look, I'll let you hear, I'll let you hear one of them. That's really funny. All right, he's got this guy named GJ Apocalypto, and this dude like freestyles and raps to himself, and and then this one guy calls and starts talking shit to him, so they start going at it. So I'll let you just kind of get an idea of what. Like he makes up these characters and gets people to actually play characters. This guy's a fucking genius of how he puts this together. Hold on. So, like, look, he'll even say the year is April 28th, 1946. After two massive asteroids collided in space, the resultant debris is swept into the Earth's orbit, blocking the light and the heat of the sun. As a result, the planet has been suddenly plunged in a climatic or chalasmatic ice age. So the year is April 28th, 2046. I don't know how old all y'all are going to be, but I'm going to be up there, man. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be time for me to punch out. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to be that old, but I'm going to be old. You know, that'll be what? Another 22 years from now? Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. I'll be in my late 40s. No, don't do that. Don't do that to me. Don't. I can't do nothing about it. But watch. I'll just let you hear a little sample of it.
Hey, everybody, or anybody who's out there listening. It's currently minus 53, so it's been a chilly evening, but I'm quite snug and cozy.
From Space Junk, huh?
Well-insulated log cabin, plus I've got the fire going, but I'm a bit concerned about my dwindling supply of firewood, which I've estimated will last me about another 3 months if I'm very conservative about it. I originally had about 4 years worth, and I naively thought, yeah, that should do it. But we all realized pretty quickly that this wasn't just a cold snap, but that we were in this for the long haul, and outside there is literally nothing left to cut. All that's left is the stumps, which are buried in snow. And even if they weren't, they'd be impossible to dig up because the ground is rock solid.
Yep.
So I have to make do with what I have, and I haven't heard or seen anyone in almost 5 months now. It was the 23rd of November to be exact. I remember because it was my father's birthday. God rest his soul. He passed in the early days of the big freeze, as people were calling it at the time. Anyway, yeah, that day, the 23rd, it was about minus 60, and I hear a faint knock on the door. I open it, and there's this young guy standing there holding a log in his hands. He's shivering. His facial hair is frozen solid. His eyelashes, too, white with frost. His lips all cracked and peeled, and then he just drops the log to the ground because he's too cold and weak to carry it. And he just faintly says, "Log for food, please." And so I was welling up inside, and I took him in, and he literally fell in front of the fire, curled up, fell asleep. And meanwhile, I cooked up a stew, preparing it for when he woke up, and well, he never did.
Oh, shit.
And that was the most sobering, heart-wrenching, darkest moment I've experienced during this whole ordeal. He was a young man, no more than 25, I would guess. And
damn.
Obviously, I never got his name or
like close to my age. Holy shit.
Story was how he ended up all the way out here at my front door. But I like to think that he got some comfort in his last moments that the last thing he remembered was the warmth of the fire, the feeling of being safe, the feeling that his ordeal was over, and then his body maybe just said, okay, that's it. I'm content and I'm ready to go right now. In this moment of peace. That's what I like to think anyway, but the next morning I had to think of what to do because I had to in some way give this young man the send-off he deserved. Obviously I couldn't dig the earth. Although I tried, it was just impossible. So with a lot of effort and over the space of quite a bit of time, because you need a lot of time and a lot of heat, I cremated his body and placed the ashes in a coffee jar, which for the time being is beneath the snow, and the log he brought, I fashioned that into a cross, and I engraved the words, "The visitor, rest in peace, died November 23rd, 2045. So that was the last time I saw or spoke to another human, as brief as it was. That was the last time, but it's not that surprising, I guess. I mean, this area wasn't frequented by many people even before the crash, so they're certainly not going to be out here in minus 50 degrees.
Damn. Minus 50.
Unless other parts
Jesus.
of the world have somehow began warming up and some sense of normality has resumed, which I very much doubt is the case considering I'm in the middle of Utah and it's minus 53 degrees. So
Yep.
places way up north they must be.
Mr. Boston, you think you could survive negative 50-degree weather in a apocalyptic scenario, Ice Age?
I really have no idea, but I know that the lowest temperature ever recorded in the United States was in Alaska on January 23rd, 1971, and that was minus 80. So I'm pretty sure that now it could be below minus 100 quite easily in some parts of the world. But news of what's happening elsewhere is non-existent. It pretty quickly came to a halt after the crash. First, it was news about temperatures temporarily plummeting around the world. Then it was forecasted to be longer.
Damn.
Then all travel was suspended. Then came the food shortages.
Remember, he's saying it's negative 50, but he just said that it could be below even further than that because he can't. I'm sure he doesn't. I don't know if he has any equipment to tell exactly how cold it is, but I'm pretty sure it's probably a lot colder than what he's saying. It could be. You know, and if it's cold over there, just imagine in other parts of the world, probably where it's probably even double or triple that amount in an apocalyptic scenario. Make sure you sub to this guy's channel. His name's Immediate Escalate. Now, there are other like YouTubers that do make pretty good videos like Unseen Obedience, Dream Airlines. He does a lot of space into the world scenarios where humans move to space after the Earth was destroyed. You know, audio auctions, soundcapades. These guys are like authors and they do like audios and they'll get characters to actually play these parts. It's really cool, you know.
Then the starvation, then the number of people dying from cold and hunger going into the tens of millions, and then it came to a halt. The news information on what was going on. It all just stopped. And the world, it seems, stopped with it. It's like I'm the last remaining man on Earth.
Yeah, you're right, Mr. Boston.
Just me and a couple of pretty tough, albeit emaciated-looking black bears that have somehow managed to get as far as they have. But unfortunately, pretty quickly meet their end when they come knocking at my door, looking for food, that food being me. But I got the firepower. I'm well stocked up on ammo, and the bears, being as hungry as they are, they just come right up to the front door. But I have like a small loft area above the door, more like storage space, so I can just climb up, open the latch, which is a few feet above the front door, and before they know it, bang, They're dead, quick and painless, and so that's my source of meat. But of course, the number of them is decreasing rapidly. So I'm in very real danger of running out of food.
Yep.
Not just yet, but that day will come when I'm staring at my last canned soup thinking, oh hell, what do I do now? Anyway, it's something I can't dwell on. I have to keep going.
And see, other people will call in
My
and
best shot in my most professional weatherman voice possible. So
watch this.
here we go. Hello and good evening. Temperatures are continuing to plummet as fast as my will to live. And the current conditions are forecasted to last anywhere from a few weeks to a couple of thousand years. The current temperature is minus 54. So cold I can't shit because my asshole is frozen shut. My nutsack looks like 2 meatballs encased in a frozen piece of wispy hair chicken skin. North of my ball sack conditions are much the same. It's an icy frozen tundra, and my shaft hasn't been this stiff since I popped 3 Viagras while going through a phase of erectile dysfunction. For those of you hoping to see a bit of sunshine before you die a cold, lonely, miserable death, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but that giant pain in the ass of a dust cloud that's orbiting the Earth is going to remain a giant pain in the ass until your actual ass itself is just 2 frozen skinny lumps of pale meat protruding up out of the snow for the bears to feed on. Wind speeds are also high, making the situation even more treacherous. So if you're planning to go outside, you are a fucking idiot. Temperatures will drop to about minus 70 during the night. So try and stay warm, get that fire lit, and if you want to end your misery, throw yourself into it. A snowstorm of cataclysmic proportions is also on its way in the coming days. So if you want to save yourself the effort of digging your own fucking grave, just stand outside and wait to be buried alive in it. So that's it for me, guys. Have a wonderful evening. I'm going to go now and roast these nuts on an open fire. Good night.
Bro, I don't know where he finds these people, but this guy's a fucking genius. Like whoever this guy is that put this channel together, like for him to actually find like characters and stuff, this guy is amazing, bro. That's why I've been subbed to him for like about 5 months now, and I love his content. I literally am like obsessed in it. I don't even watch like sports videos anymore unless I'm watching like highlights. I don't even watch that anymore. I just watch stuff like this now. This kind of stuff entertains me, you know. His name is Immediate Escapade. Y'all sub to his channel, dude. This dude's really cool. And for $5, like I'll send him $5 and I'll tell him, hey, can you create this scenario and this and that? And he'll actually create it even if he doesn't have characters, but he'll make it look, he'll bring it to life for $5. Like I had a couple of videos that I specifically requested, and I gave like my story, and I sent him like $10 and I sent him like $20, and he actually put those videos together for me. And I was like, damn, that's right. I was like, I appreciated that shit, man, because it's like, you know, I mean, it's a fictional story, because of course this doesn't exist, but it just gives you that sort of like, it's like an audio playbook, you know, like back in the day, teachers used to play the audio playbooks. It's like this right here is like something similar to it, but a lot more enhanced and a lot more realistic with like live characters and scenarios. And it's just really cool, man. It just kind of, you know, puts your mind in the moments where you actually kind of feel like it's really happening, even though you kind of know it's not. But it's like wrestling, right? You know the shit's fake, right? The matches are pre-scripted, but you enjoy the show. It's kind of like that. It's like the same thing, you know.
Temperatures can plummet to minus 100.
Make sure you drop the link in one of my random videos, because if I click on it on here, it'll end my stream. That's why.
Straight out of the hood who refuses to be exterminated. I've seen it all, y'all. Wars, famine, pestilence. And that was just in the hood growing up, y'all. This ice age. I mean, come on, man. Mother Nature be a bitch, you know, but she gonna have to do more than that to get rid of DJ Apocalypse. I mean, come on, for real, y'all. Granted, I've lost a couple of pounds, but that's to be expected. I mean, before this, 99.9% of my diet was fried chicken. Now I'm living off these crazy-ass squirrels around here who, first of all, are a bitch to catch. They clever. They know the shit you trying to pull. So your traps got to be pretty elaborate to catch them. But when you do, I'm telling you, man, they ain't bad.
look like chicken a bit. If they had been selling that back in the day, y'all, I'd have been buying it. The Mac Squirrel Burger, that would have been a hit, y'all, for real.
You know, DJ Apocalypto, he ain't lying. Squirrels are very difficult to catch. Like, if you guys ever try to catch the squirrels, like like we have an issue with squirrels. Like, we feed them in the back, of course, with like seed and stuff, but they get in the attic, right? In the summertime when it's real hot. So they'll get in the attic with the rats and they'll start chewing on the insulation in there, right? So it's like, if y'all don't know what insulation is, it's like this like pink foam and it's got like fiberglass in it, right? So we got a lot of insulation that's up in the attic, right? And so you got what's called, you got your AC line, right? So you got your AC running in the with the air ducts and everything, and then you got your actual AC line that runs from the AC all the way to the outlet, which is like a little hole that's like on the side of your house. And sometimes you can use like your window unit or something and stick it out, and it drips the condensation that comes from your AC that's running that keeps your house cool, right? So the problem with that is that even though the condensation is going outside, and you see the drip, 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 because it comes out my window. So you'll see the constant drip. It'll be dripping and dripping and dripping, right? All fucking day as long as the AC is running. The problem with rats, in particularly, they're the main problem, but squirrels are the second biggest problem. Is they get inside the attic, right? They start eating up the insulation, right? Once they do that, they find the AC line, they start chewing on the AC line. So what do you think happens when they do that? When they chew on the AC line and it punctures the wiring, the condensation that's supposed to go out of the house is now going into the house. And you don't know, so you're sitting there just chilling. All of a sudden you see drips coming from your ceiling, and you're like, what the fuck? So the condensation's already went through the plywood and then went through the actual sheetrock. And then that shit just starts caving down. I had a big giant hole right here, the corner in where the drip weakened and went through the plywood and weakened all the sheetrock. So I had to have, in fact, if you look, I'll show you right here. You'll see where the paint is up here, and there is a little. You'll see a line that's going straight across, right? That's where the sheetrock was replaced from. This corner end up here towards the back end over here. All these sheetrocks had to be replaced and repainted, and the plywood had to be replaced because those goddamn rats and squirrels ate the fucking AC line. They did it twice, okay? So 2 times this happened. Happened 3 years ago, and it happened again last year. And so you have to cut the AC off, right? You have to cut the AC off because the condensation keeps going. So you got to cut the AC off. Then you got to assess the damage. You got to replace all that. And now, every 6 months, we throw rat poison up there. And so the rat poison, it looks like little droplets of food, and the rats will go up there and eat it. I'm talking about, these rats are fucking huge. They get like this. The water rats are like this fucking big. They come from the bayou. They're huge. Never seen them that big. And they'll go up there and they'll eat the food, and it's poison. So you'll hear them flopping around in the middle of the night. You'll hear them flopping around up there. And sometimes the squirrels will eat it, and they'll die too. And so, you know, after you go and get all those rats out, because their bodies will start smelling up due to decomposition, you got to take all the rats out. You got to take all the squirrels out, and then you got to fix all the insulation in there and all that. Then you got to pour more rat poison up there every 6 months, because when the summer hits, they come up there for a shade. So they'll come up here for shade. So that's when, as soon as that springtime hits, you start throwing that rat poison up there again. You can get it for Home Depot for like $50. Get a whole big bag of it. You just pour the whole thing up there, and it keeps the rats and the squirrels out. Now, sometimes bees will go up there too, so you got to spray occasionally for wasps, bees, hornets, yellow jackets, that kind of stuff. Wasps mainly. But sometimes you'll get hornets, you'll get yellow jackets. We have a lot of yellow jackets over here in this area, so you got to spray up there. And you know, I hate particularly hornets because, unlike the wasp, where it stings you once and it dies, because the stinger tends to stay in you, so it kills the wasp. So he can only sting you once and die. A hornet, however, can sting you multiple times without losing a stinger. In fact, you can get stung 100 times by the same hornet, and it'll sting you as much as it wants to. And as long as you stand around and let it, it'll just keep stinging you. And so hornets never lose their stingers; they'll just keep stinging you. So that's why you have to fucking run when you see a hornet's nest or yellow jackets in particularly. So you just got to kind of spray up there. So, but anyways, squirrels used to be the dumbest fucking animals on the planet. Now they're intelligent. They know when you're setting the traps. They know when the dogs and the cats are coming out to run in the backyard. They know exactly how high to jump on the fence line. And they get smarter over the years. So DJ Apocalypto is real fucking smart, man. He's not lying. Is that squirrels have gotten smart over the years, like they know the traps and they're harder to catch, you know? So they've adapted to their predators. So that's one. I will say he is correct about squirrels. But I've never had squirrel meat before. Wasp can sting you hundreds of times. Yeah. I know yellow jackets and hornets can.
Squirrel nuggets and fries. half-ass Kentucky fried squirrel. That shit would have been the bomb. But anyway, like I was saying, DJ Apocalypse ain't going nowhere anytime soon. I've been listening to all y'all dudes out there. Damn, you dudes need to get your shit together and stop with all that negativity bullshit. We in this, and there ain't nothing we can do. But take each day as it come, y'all. You got to be looking for the positive all the time, man. Regardless of what shit life be throwing at you, you got to wipe that shit off your face. Go pick yourself, pick your ass up, and face another frosty ass motherfucking day. That's all there is to it. And y'all, we got to keep populating. I ain't got nobody to populate with, but if I did, we'd be popping out a little Jabari here, a little Jamila there. We'd be popping out them babies that carry on the bloodline, y'all. And plus, all that back and forth action, keep your ass warm. It's a good cardio workout,
Yeah.
too. So if you got the opportunity, you get right on it. You be rocking those hips. Nibbling on them BJ lips, spanking all the wobbly bits. And in 9 months' time, you can thank DJ Apocalypse. Anyway, wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope y'all doing good. I know it ain't easy. There's so many things I miss, man. Just a glimpse of the sun, a blue sky, some grass, a total.
Oh, you got 2 kids? That's what's up.
The sound of traffic. Hell, even the sound of my ex-mother-in-law giving me shit. I miss movies on a Friday night and blowing up shit on GTA. I miss a Summer Street and all them fine booties strutting they stuff. Damn, I could list all the things I miss all day, but it ain't gonna get me nowhere. So I try and put that shit out of my mind and say to myself, you snap out of that shit. This is the reality of the situation. Now get your lazy ass up and go catch that evasive little son of a bitch of a squirrel and get your ass some breakfast. But obviously as well, I'm missing my studio and doing my thing, my freestyle and mixing up some beats, man.
One thing I like about this character here, DJ Apocalypto, he's probably one of my most favorite characters in this guy's storyline, is that he finds positive. He tries to find the positives out of everything and tries to stay positive about the situation. You know, where most people call in, they're kind of complaining about their end of the world. It's kind of like what they call doomers. And he kind of finds like a shining light at the end of all of it, and he like laughs it off and stuff. He does a really good job of doing that. I like his character. He's funny too, you know.
I miss that. I ain't heard a song in about 3.5 years, man. All I got now is the songs in my head and the memories of all the good times listening to them with my homies. But I still spit some sick rhymes, y'all, every once in a while, except now it's all like ice and snow related. It's hard to get away from that shit. Like when you look around and all you see is a frozen wasteland all the way out to the horizon. It's like, damn, I need to stop rapping about
Salvation of the Cross. Wow.
Shit. I ain't seen no penguins, but it looks like the type of environment they should be in. And so they've started to creep or waddle into my songs, and penguins ain't got no place in hip-hop. But anyway, that's the kind of stuff I be doing to keep my mind occupied, because there's just a dead silence out here, apart from the wind that picks up every now and then. It's just a dead silence, and I ain't used to that in the hood. My bedtime ambience was gunshots, screaming silence, overheard crackhead conversations. That shit used to lull me to sleep, but the hood just sound like this place now, claimed by the cold hand of nature, and I stuck it out for a couple of months after the crash. But like, once the stores were completely empty, and people turned real nasty, I mean, killing and eating each other out of desperation, straight up Hannibal Lecter type shit, that's when I said, no man, hell no, I ain't ending up on no goddamn dinner menu. So I packed my things, loaded up my 1999 Dodge Caravan. Yo, I'm old school, man. That thing was my baby. Anyway, I drove south, and I kept driving south until my Dodge ran out of fuel out in the boonies, and lo and behold, I looked to my right, and there, through the gaps in the trees, about 100 feet off the road, is a quaint little snow-covered cabin that looks like it ain't been inhabited since Noah stepped off the ark. And that was it, my new home. That was fate, man. My Dodge was supposed to run out of fuel at that exact moment, at that exact place. And that was 3.5 years ago, y'all. I fixed the place up a bit, added a bit of insulation with whatever I could find, fixed a few leaks. I went from DJ Apocalypse to DIY Apocalypse. There was an old shit out back full of old tools, and I learned the trade, man. Started cutting me some wood, stocking up, catching me them chicken and nut flavored squirrels, and just every day, bit by bit, learn how to survive and thrive. But the day could come when I gotta go, y'all, when the squirrel population be like dropping to numbers that don't satisfy my hunger no more, when DJ Apocalypse is going and eating all the little furry motherfuckers into extinction, I'm gonna have to venture out. See what other possibilities and opportunities are presenting themselves. I don't know what's going on. I ain't heard no news in years.
I like this guy.
We ain't got a president anymore, or a government, or any type of like functioning system. I ain't seen a car pass in about 3 years neither. Hell, there ain't even a road there no more. I ain't seen no planes overhead. I ain't seen another living soul since the day I stepped foot in this place, y'all. For all I know, I'm just talking to myself. Damn, imagine that. That would be sad, man. But no, I think somebody out there hearing me for real. There gotta be. Because I've even heard what I thought sounded like voices coming through the static, like all distorted and shit, obviously, but it sounded like a bunch of rednecks, like the kind of dudes whose mamas are also, they free man for himself. Yeah, I gotta, your kidneys and shit be getting boiled in a pot by a bunch of inbred hills have eyes looking motherfuckers. There's a bit of interference going on, but yeah, you gotta be wary, man. You can't be like broadcasting your location and shit and inviting him every Tom, Dick, and Harry around for some squirrel. There's a lot of desperate people out there right now. It's every man for himself. Yeah, I gotta go get some more logs for the fire, y'all. I'm burning through them quick, but it's all good. I got no shortage of forest, and if you put every layer of clothes you got on and you doing some chopping, you can stay warm out there. Plus, it's good for the mind, man. That shit's therapeutic. All right, I'm going for now. Catch y'all later.
Asteroid 3,000 times bigger than the one that killed the dinosaurs.
Step outside, and it's like being smacked in the face with a snow shovel. So you kind of brace yourself each time. Then, of course, you got to close the door behind you as quick as possible. Because even 3 seconds of minus 60 blowing through the gap will pretty quickly cool the room down. And on top of that, we've got the extra trouble of wind direction. Unfortunately, it primarily aims itself directly at the front of the house. So every morning, or nearly every morning, we've got 4, 5, 6 foot of snow just piled up against the door, which my husband actually thinks is beneficial because he says it acts as like an extra layer of insulation, but I'm not convinced. I mean, it's freaking snow, but my husband, he says these things to keep the kids' spirits up. It's so hard for them. Their natural instinct is to want to go outside and play.
Yep.
Their kids, for God's sake, so of course they do, but they can only go outside most days for like a couple minutes max, with my husband, of course. And that's with every bit of clothing they got. And yeah, within 3-4 minutes they're done. They've had enough anyway, that type of cold. It just penetrates every layer of clothes you got, gets under your skin, into your bones. It's just not worth it. And my youngest, she's 5, so you know what that means. She's never seen the sun. Or she would have, but she was only like a year old when the crash happened, so obviously she wouldn't remember it. And the same goes for many things. She's never seen a blue sky. And she's never seen the leaves come out on the tree or heard the birds sing. She's never seen a single blade of grass, or
Wow.
she's never seen a flower or heard a dog bark. The list goes on and on and on and on. All she has seen is a white frozen wasteland and a grayish-white sky. And of course, she's got questions. She's very curious about why we live the way we live. Basically, she picks up on the struggle we face day in, day out, even though my husband and I try and hide it. For the sake of the kids, I don't want them thinking, damn, life is miserable. I want them to, regardless of the circumstances, to be happy, to have a childhood that they can look back on and say, we were provided for, we had good times, we laughed, and we may not have had warmth outside, but we had warmth within our home, the warmth of the love that we were shown. And I want their futures to be warmer. That would be nice, but that dust cloud ain't leaving anytime soon. Not in our lifetime, but before the crash, I would have hoped for them to have a secure future financially, go to university, get qualifications behind them, all that stuff, and now that don't exist anymore. So all I want for them is just simply health and happiness. That's it.
And imagine you can't even go to a hospital and like something was to happen, you need like surgery or something, but you couldn't get to a hospital because there are no hospitals. Imagine that.
For them to be able to live somewhat of a normal life. I mean, of course, it's not going to be the same type of normal that I had when I was growing up, like going to school, going to the mall, the prom, clubbing on the weekend, the first date, all that stuff, but they won't know any different. This will be all they know. This will be the only normal they know. And that's sad. But we got to do what we got to do to give them a sense of hope and purpose in life, because without that, you ain't got nothing. So we owe them that, and when they do someday have questions, we'll answer them honestly. We'll tell them about the crash, try and explain as best we can about, the earth, the universe, what caused all this, which I won't be very good at. My husband will be better at all that. But, these kids are basically starting off with the knowledge people had from the earliest of times. Knowledge has been lost, so they won't be able to.
All right, man, you take it easy, Mr. Boston. This video actually gets better. GJ Apocalypto, he gets into it with this one guy who threatens him. He says, you're trying to be positive. I'll come to your house, blow your head off. And then Apocalypto responds. It's a 42-minute video. I'm in the 21-minute mark, so I'm halfway done. I'm trying to remember the part of the video where it comes up in. I'm going to check it out.
But they're going to be curious for sure. My husband and I are going to have a lot of questions to answer. Questions we don't have the answers to, but we'll do our best. And we'll do our best to give them the best life they could possibly have, given the circumstances. Anyway, my brother is trapped. He fell through the ground. He fell about 50 feet. He's not responding. I can't get to him. We need somebody. We're scared.
I'm trying to find that part. Hold on.
And that distance between the Earth and the Sun.
Hold on.
Belt between Mars and between us and the Sun.
He's not responding. I can't get to him. We need somebody. We're scared and we're cold. Please, somebody hide us. We're in Ross Creek. You will see a blue shooting.
I mean, the asteroids were massive, but the chances of them actually colliding where they did between us and the Sun, the chances of that are so slim, you couldn't even put a number on it, but they were massive. I mean, massive. These goddamn things were anywhere between 400 and 500 miles in diameter. That's the size of some of the biggest asteroids found in the main asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. And what in the hell they were doing out this direction is anyone's guess. But still, the chances of them hitting, try to imagine the vastness of space and that distance between the Earth and the Sun. It's 93 million miles. I'll repeat that. 93 million miles, and these two space rocks, 400 or 500 miles in diameter, somehow managed to collide basically just above Earth. Unluckily for us, just close enough for the Earth's gravity to pull that dust and debris from the resulting crash into its orbit and block our source of life.
Damn.
I mean, we must be the unluckiest goddamn planet in the whole freaking universe. I lay awake at night thinking about that, and it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, it is what it is, and what it is shit bad luck, but I hope you're holding up okay. Wherever you are, we've only got another
sky slowly being revealed as clouds disperse. Imagine that. Wouldn't you just cry tears of joy? I would anyway. But yeah, the imagination is as far as it goes and no further. It would be nice to know what's going on in other parts of the world, hell, even other parts of our own country. Like maybe a bit of sun is getting through some gaps in the dust cloud. I mean, that's what I've been thinking. Also, those asteroids were big, but according to my estimates, there wouldn't be enough dust and debris to completely smother the globe. There couldn't be. But maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe you just need a large enough percentage of the sun's light and heat being blocked to trigger an ice age. Either way, it was obviously enough. But it would just be cool to hear some news of what's going on elsewhere. You know, we're all just so cut off from each other. I wonder how many people have died around the world as a result of this. I mean, when you think of all the possible causes of death that could be attributed to this, hypothermia would probably be number one, I'd imagine, just general exposure to the elements. A couple 100 million probably wiped out by that, and then you got starvation. The world's covered in ice, so there ain't nothing growing, no food for the animals to eat, so they're dying, and we in turn eat the animals to survive, and there's not many animals that have gotten through this. So again, a couple 100 million probably gone because of starvation. Maybe I'm being conservative with those numbers. It could be billions. And then you got disease. Weakened bodies are more prone to sickness. Another few million or billion wiped off the earth. Then there's accidents. There has to have been quite a few of them. And what else is there? Social chaos. Desperate times call for desperate measures. And people are, and people will kill each other to survive. So yeah, the number of dead.
What did I tell you guys? If the world came to an end, or you could, like, if AI technology takes over, right? Which that's where it looks like we're headed to. If they do not subsidize universal income for people that are out of work, you're talking like 80% of people worldwide with not a job, right? Because that's what Agenda 2030 is, right? The AI takeover, aka the Great Reset. And if you think crime is bad now, right? Just imagine how it would be like if AI takes over. I'm talking about complete robotics replacing all of us. Just imagine this guy basically just says humans will kill each other to survive when you don't have your basic necessities, food, water, shelter.
Has to be in the billions, and we're talking about just 4 years of this, 4 years. What about another 4,000 years or 400,000 years? Humanity will not survive. Pure and simple. Humanity will not survive. I don't mean to be a pessimist. I'm just being realistic here. If my numbers are right, and I'm calculating that hundreds of millions, maybe billions are dead in 4 years, then in just 10 years' time or less, every last one of us could be gone, and 90% of all other life forms too, except those that can survive or withstand these conditions. That's a crazy thought, ain't it? In 10 years' time, I am pretty confident that every last one of us, the human race, will be gone. And I know some of you will be saying, well, thanks, Joe, for that uplifting prediction, but I'm sorry, folks. Them just the facts. That's the grim reality of the situation. And thinking otherwise is just fooling yourself. I mean, I'm not saying give up and just curl up in a ball and die. But we got to be realistic about the situation and not delude ourselves. Like some dude I heard on the air, DJ Apocalypto or DJ Apocalyptic.
See, this guy starts talking shit to DJ Apocalyptic. And then later in this video, DJ Apocalyptic responds to him. And I like it because they put this together so well. It makes it feel like this is actually happening. Like, so it's a private bank. It's a computer, the beast of the 3-story computer in Belgium. Oh, shit. I'm going to write that down.
But anyway, he was saying how he will overcome this, and Mother Nature will have to do better than this to kill him, all that stuff. And talking about positive vibes. Staying positive. Well, the situation says otherwise. And he is not in control of it if nature wants to kill killed him. It will. And there ain't nothing this positive vibes can do about it. I mean, not that I would, but if I wanted to, I could track him down pretty easy, knock on his front door, and blow his head clean off his friggin' shoulders and take all this stuff. So what's your positive vibes going to do about that, Mr. DJ Apocalypto? Like I said, not that I would do that, but my point is kind of arrogant to say you're in control of a situation like this, or have so much certainty that you're going to get through it, because you don't know shit. You don't know what's coming down the line, because me, someone else, or Mother Nature itself could just decide that today is your final day. Simple as that. So people ought to be wary of
Now now DJ Apocalypto responds to him later in the video. This is what, 28 minute of the 42-minute mark, so there's 14 minutes left. I think about 10 or 5 or 6 minutes later into this audio, DJ Apocalypto does respond and adds a little humor to it. So I like these scenarios this guy puts together. Genius, you know.
In a lot of ways, I don't miss it. I don't miss my alarm going off or the morning commute. I don't miss the traffic. I don't miss pretending I give a shit about my colleagues' weekend on a Monday morning. I don't miss listening to my boss tell me how to do a job that I can do better than him.
Yep.
And I don't miss the Sunday evening anxiety that comes with thinking of work on a Monday. I don't miss the fake smiles or the senseless small talk conversations by the coffee maker. I don't miss acting professional or sacrificing my life for a bullshit corporation that doesn't give a shit about me. And I don't miss the brain-numbing reality TV shows or the celebrities with half a brain cell telling us how to live our lives. I don't miss our corporate pawn of a president or the government control and overreach. I don't miss our society's decadent moral decline and the breakdown of family values. I don't miss the relentless radio commercials and god-awful songs that were somehow considered music. I don't miss the depressing, constant bombardment of agenda-driven news that blatantly lied, misled, and distorted facts to manipulate public opinion.
Damn.
I don't miss our greedy, self-indulgent, consumerist society, and I don't miss paying my rent. I just don't miss it. I am, in fact, very content with this peaceful, isolated, albeit difficult existence. It's brutal, but it's calm. It's unforgiving, but it's humbling to just look out there and see the endless expanse of white terrain. It makes you feel so small and insignificant, but in a comforting sort of way. And you actually have time to think, and I didn't have that before. Or maybe I did, but there were so many distractions.
I don't know who these actors are, but they're better than the Hollywood actors I see today. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. If this right here is the next form of movies where you listen to audio, shit, count me in. It's better than watching a bunch of this crap that you see out in the theaters now.
Constant stream of information.
Sign me up.
With technology and work and whatever, to the point that you forgot what it was to just simply sit down and think like I do now. I mean, once my work for the day is done, and I mean real work, not slaving away for some soul-sucking corporation. I mean, chopping the wood, hunting, gathering, doing repairs, preparing for the next day and all that. After that's done, I just sit down, light the fire, get a bite to eat, and I can just stare into the fire for hours, and I just think, and it amazes me that I look forward to something and as simple as that at the end of the day. And that's when your mind is starting to reconfigure, slowly return to its natural state before it was corrupted and polluted by the poisonous fumes of a toxic world. Of course, there are certain people that I miss. My mom, my dad, my brother. We all lived in different parts of the country at the time of the crash, and I haven't seen them since, and I don't know if they got through it, but who knows? Maybe someday I'll find out. Maybe someday I'll see them again.
You know what sucks? Most families now today all live far apart. I got family in New York. I got family in Arizona. I got family in Florida that I've never fucking met. I got cousins I've never fucking met, bro. Like, that's how like distant families have now, like if you want to go to the whole like breaking down of the family value, like even in from a marriage perspective, like even if you want to go outside the marriage, you just want to talk about traditional families in general, like families are all like distant and not talking. At least in my family, it's like that. It's kind of crazy when you think about it because, you know, like this guy right here says, I miss my family and we never lived close to each other. It's like I have cousins that I've never met. Like, isn't that crazy? Like, I got first cousins I never met. Like, I never fucking met. Like, it's just crazy how like distant people are now. Like, even in your own family, it's that way. Like, you know, you might be cool with like, you know, your what they call your immediate family, right? Your brother, your sister, your moms, your dads, and maybe you might have a certain relationship with an uncle, or you might have a you might a relationship with like a you know, like a cousin or like one cousin or something like that's really close to you, you know, but that's like the small percentage, and then the rest of them are just kind of like they're just doing their own thing, living their own life, and like so are you. It's just crazy how, like, I have cousins I never met. Like, it's insane thinking about it because you know, they live in New York or Florida or here or there. And it's like, you got a cousin named something like, wait, what? I never even met that person before. Like, it's just, I guess it's just crazy that, you know, it's crazy thinking about it, ain't it? You know? Let's listen to more of this.
It's not beyond the realms of possibility, but without any means of transport. For now, it is impossible, but it would be good just to even hear their voices or just know that they're okay. That would be enough for me. But I had a dog, my best buddy, his name was Arnold, and he made it through the first few months after the crash, but eventually it got too much for him, and I did what I could to try and keep him fed and keep him warm, but it wasn't enough. And he didn't make it, and I still miss him every day and feel like I let him down, but well, it is what it is, but I do have a picture of him beside my bed, which is nice. It's when he was about 3 years old, and we were out at the lake on a hot summer's day, and I was throwing the ball in the lake for him, and I remember that day like it was yesterday. My brother took the picture, and Arnold's got the ball in front of him, and he's soaking wet, tongue sticking out, exhausted from chasing the ball. But yeah, they were good times. Actually, Pet would be nice company right now.
Oh, yeah.
The selection is a bit scarce at the moment. Although there is a spider that lives under my bed, I'm not sure what he's living off though, because I haven't seen a single fly since, well, probably a few weeks after the crash, but something is keeping him alive. He's obviously very resourceful, so he's my only companion for now that I know of anyway. Maybe there's a few other expert survivalists lurking around, probably eyeing me up for their next meal, watching me as I slowly grow weaker, waiting for the perfect opportunity to pounce. Actually, that reminds me, I have to check the trap out in the shed and see what tasty grub I've got for tonight. Probably another rat, which at first I refused to eat because, well, it was rat, but if you stew it for an hour or so, they're not that bad. They've got like an earthy taste, is how I would put it. They're a bit chewy, but
Could you guys eat rats? Like fried rats? I mean, I know, like, you know, the first answer would be like, no. But, like, in an ice age, apocalyptic scenario, and you don't have any cows or, you know, to get them hamburgers from, man, I might have to eat squirrel and rats.
Yeah, they're not bad. So, anyway, I'm going to go check the trap. Talk to you guys later.
Oh, hell no, damn. Y'all, I got a hater on my back?
Oh, that's apocalyptic.
I was picking up literally no signal before, but I heard that loud and clear. DJ Apocalypse gone and got himself a hater, talking about tracking me down, getting all itchy about my positive vibes. Talking about coming up here and blowing my head off my shoulders and shit. Here, listen, if you heard me before, you know me. I'm all about peace and love, forgiveness. That's just me, man. Peace and love. I don't threaten people with physical violence. That ain't me. Those days are behind me. But listen, dude, I will mess your shit up. If you trespass on my turf, stay off my land and stay away from my squirrels. This place be laden with traps. You step 10 feet on my turf, man, and you're going to end up impaled on some nasty-ass stick for real. I'm just giving you a very considerate health and safety warning. You come on my land, and I feel like you're putting my ass in danger, or you're going to break loose. I mean, come on, man, I'm armed too. You think I was walking around the hood all the years with a goddamn butter knife for backup? Oh, hell no. Do you? Best stop with that crazy talk, or your ass is going to end up a death by misadventure. The misadventure being, y'all ass thinking to come up on my turf running his mouth and waving weapons around and shit. Oh, hell no. That ain't happening. You do your shit and I'll do mine. You want to be all downbeat and whatever, you do that. But I'm a positive dude, and I know it ain't going to save my ass from the inevitable, but it makes my journey towards the inevitable happier one. So you do your thing, and I'll do mine. I'm going to wake up with a smile on my face every morning until my ass is frozen and preserved in a block of ice, and archaeologists will discover me in 5,000 years' time and say to each other, damn, that's a happy as fuck. That's just how DJ Apocalypse roll, man. Don't get all up on my ass because you wallowing in your own self-pity and misery and trying to drag us all down with you. Come on, man. Be cool. We got to get along out here. Not Beatty dishing out threats and talking about leaving your neighbor with no head and taking his squirrels and shit. That shit ain't appropriate. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about the matter, but damn, here I am waiting to hear some signs of life from another human being, and the first one I hear is threatening to shoot my ass just for spreading some positivity. Anyway, I ain't gonna lose sleep over it, but my ear's gonna be tuned in for any twig snapping, any snow crunching, and doors squeaking, and if I hear any of that shit and you up to something you shouldn't be up to, I'm gonna Clint Eastwood your ass. Okay, I'm done for today. I'm gonna chill.
Bro.
Sick beats with my pots and pans.
Bro.
Spit some sick
This guy,
rhymes over
DJ
the top of them.
Apocalypto's funny as fuck.
DJ Apocalypse classic is gonna be called Neighbor Impaled, featuring Lil Squirrel and the Squirrel Crew. All right, much love. Talk to y'all later.
Bro, that guy is funny. They should bring him back for like another episode or something. That dude is fucking hilarious. Whoever that character was, who created that character, and the guy they got playing it, man, that's pretty good, man. That's better than these movies I'll be watching, these little audios they put together. So yeah, sub to his channel. It's called Immediate Escapade, and he's got like other scenarios too, where like a World War III breaks out, and you're like in the middle of it, and you're listening to the radio, people calling in and stuff. They got the first night of the zombie apocalypse. Ambience of the zombie apocalypse chaos in New York, zombie virus ESA scenario. He's got that one and two. I mean, he's got a whole bunch of them. Peaceful Night. He's got a whole bunch of different types of scenarios that play out, and got a little storyline going. So you can tell this guy puts a lot of craft into his work. Very creative. And, hey, I mean, I wish I would have thought of something like this, I always wanted to write kids' books, but I never did that shit. But yeah, this guy is very good, man. He's a very good author, good at putting these videos together, so.
Minus 55, and I can't feel my face.
See, minus 55, I couldn't survive that.
Literally 5 minutes ago, I held her in my arms. Just been jerking off, trying to generate some heat. Nothing left, and I don't know how much longer I have. I'm down to my last bit of timber, my last bit of gas, my last canned soup, and it's probably my last few days. I'm weak, I'm hungry, I've lost hope, and once the heat dissipates, the temperatures in the cabin are going to be the same as the temperatures
only thing I'll be protected from is the wind, and it's a crazy thought, but I was thinking with the last bit of gas I have in my lighter, will I just burn the cabin down with me in it? At least I won't die a slow, drawn-out death in the cold. Instead, it will be relatively quick and warm. I'm trying to think what my father would do if he was in this situation. He always thought of a solution to any problem, but unfortunately, I didn't inherit that skill. I just stocked up on a trailer load of food when the crash first happened and came out here to the family cabin to save being eaten by the masses, but I never learned how to hunt or actually made an effort to learn. In fact, stupidly, I just ate up my stash of food and thought, I'll worry about getting more when the time comes.
Yep.
And well, that time has come, and I'm all out of ideas. I look outside, and I just see a frozen, hostile wasteland that offers nothing to me, nothing to sustain me or give me some hope. And I can't leave and look for help. The nearest thing to civilization is over 20 miles away, and it's about minus 52 or 3 outside. So
imagine trying to live in minus 52 degree weather. Like, that would be crazy. Like, if this ice age thing really does happen and, you know, you had to live in that. You had to hunt fucking squirrels. You had no electricity. You had just enough logs to keep the fire going for maybe a couple of months, and you had to learn a lot of like skills and shit to survive. You learn how to hunt. Man, imagine if that happens.
I would be dead in a matter of hours, so I'm stuck. I've nothing left in the cabin to stay for, and at the same time, there's nothing outside it to leave. So I guess
that's crazy.
These are my final words, and I have nothing prolific to say, only that I've had a good life in general. There's been ups and downs, but generally it's been okay, and I'm just angry with myself that I didn't prepare better, but that was the story of my life, really. I was always disorganized and always left things till the last minute, and that's going to cost me my life. I feel very lonely. I always have felt a bit lonely, actually. I never had kids or a wife, so I'm used to being on my own, but this is a different type of loneliness. It is a scary type of loneliness.
Well, yeah, because now there's not a human in miles. At least you had humans to interact with before the world ended. So, you know, there was still a chance that you could meet somebody. Now, you have no chance. And you're out in the middle of nowhere. The ice age is hit. There's not a human being for fucking miles. You're possibly, in your mind, have after 3 or 4 years of no human existence, you've probably convinced yourself there's no humans left. So you're like, now the loneliness really sinks in. Like, a lot of people say they're lonely because they're probably either ignored in life or don't have many friends or never had a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. But now, you know, at least before the world ended, there was hope. Like, you had hope that you could meet somebody. You had hope that you could make friends. You had hope that you could do these. Now you have no hope because the world ended and Ice Age took over, and, you know, now it's you're by yourself with just animals that you have to catch specifically for food, you know?
A fear of dying alone.
Mm-hmm.
A fear of the
loneliness is worse.
Feel how long it will take, where I will go afterward, if anywhere. It's just an overwhelming sense of fear. I don't know how else to put it, but it's definitely not the way I expected to go, and I don't want to be just left for the rats to feed on. I would like proper burial, but I can't bury myself, obviously, so that was another reason for thinking that it might be a good idea to just burn the can give myself a cremation. Something I'm going to have to give a bit more thought, but it seems the most logical thing to do. It definitely does. And with that, I'm going to go now. I'm going to sign off and wish whoever is listening, if anyone, all the luck in the world, this frozen world, and I hope you and your loved ones make it.
Damn.
Goodbye.
Crazy, huh? One minute left. Well, yeah. Yeah, it's actually less than a minute. But yeah, this guy makes good content. So yeah, that's probably one of my favorite videos that he made. But yeah, I'm subbed to his channel, so I watch a lot of his videos like this. And like sometimes I'll just, if I know I got to go to work in 2 or 3 hours, and I'm just kind of just chilling, ain't got shit to do, I'll just flip on one of his videos and just sit and chill, listen. And I actually envision like every scenario he says in my mind, and I'm like, man, because you know they say at the end of the day, you know, your mind is a powerful tool. So I'll just sit there and I'll listen to the things he says, and I'll imagine what I think the characters might look like, and I'll envision it in my mind, you know, and play out the scenarios, the storylines, and everything. You know, gives you kind of a new perspective on audio stories as opposed to always having to watch movies where everything's just kind of there. You know what I'm saying? And you know, so this gives you kind of a new perspective on things. You know, but like I said, it's like what 2:45 a.m. I'm fucking tired, bro. I'm gonna say what's up to all the people in the chat real quick before I get out of here. Guard of Legends, nigga Sonic, middle-aged dickhead. ML, then there's Bella, Mr. Boston. Let's see who else. Mr. Cylinder Under Circle. There's ES. Let's see. That's all I see. Yeah, that's all I see right now. All right, guys. Well, I'm heading to sleep. Somehow let y'all. I won't be able to stream tomorrow because I work nights. So Thursday is a no-go. I'm off Friday and Saturday. I don't know what I'm going to do Friday. I might stream. I might not. I'm not sure. But I know Saturday we're going to go see Midget Wrestling. And the show starts at 8:30. So I might stream a little bit of Midget Wrestling. I'll let you guys see that. But it'll probably be like 8:30. So it'll be like 8:30 p.m. So I'll probably see you guys Friday for sure. Yeah. But I'll see you guys on Friday, man. So y'all take care, man. I'm heading to sleep. I'll take care.